Sorry about that. We'll call the meeting to order. Welcome to Meredith. I guess you're the only one on the line outside of Councillor Wills.
Somebody else just joined.
Okay, someone else just joined.
Yeah, it's Bob Thomas.
Welcome, Bob. How are you tonight?
Pretty good.
Good. Okay, this is the regular meeting of Council of the Municipality of Swan Valley West, held in Council Chambers at 216 Main Street West, Swan River, Manitoba. This 28th day of June 2022 at 7 p.m. Present in Chambers, myself, Deputy Reeve Bill Galloway, and Councillor Pierrepont. Joining us by the phone is Councillor Wills, and we expect Councillor Kushniryk to join us momentarily. Absent with prior notice is Councillor Foster. We also have our CAO James Webb, and doing the podcast, Jeremy Bergen. Okay, notice of absence. Be it resolved that notice of absence submitted by Council Member Glen Foster regarding the regular meeting of Council held this 28th day of June 2022 shall be accepted as received. Do we have a mover, please? Moved by Councillor Blosha, seconded by Councillor Pierrepont. All in favor?
Yes.
That is carried. Next resolution, be it resolved that the agenda for the regular meeting of Council held this 28th day of June 2022 shall be adopted as presented. Do we have a mover, please? Moved by Councillor Pierrepont, seconded by Councillor Blosha. Any additions requested? There being none, we'll call the question. All in favor?
Yes.
That is carried. Next resolution, be it resolved that minutes of the regular meeting, council meeting held on June 14th, 2022 be adopted as presented. Mover, please. Moved by Councillor Wills, seconded by Councillor Blosha. Are there any errors or omissions? There being none, I'll call the question. All in favor?
Yes.
That is carried. What do we got for Public Works to report?
Just a quick report to let everybody know the calcium is being applied this week. Gravel application will start next week. If all goes well. The damage from the storm of June 19th, we've got it assessed, we've got it starting to repair it. Next week we'll also do some of the major construction on that.
So there were numerous washouts, and some roads were next to impassable.
Exactly, yeah. So we put barricades up where we could. We've graded out what we can to point, but there's about 45 different roads that are affected by the storm.
And we do have an application in for disaster assistance, and we're hoping that will come to fruition without any issues, so that we can be reimbursed at least partially for repairs of the damage. No delegations, no petitions. Move on to 7.1. The resolution reads, be it resolved that bylaw number 0088-21, being a bylaw of the Municipality of Swan Valley West for the purpose of managing the developments and buildings in the municipality, shall be introduced and read a second time this 28th day of June 2022. Do we have a mover, please? Moved by Councillor Pierrepont, seconded by Councillor Blosha. Any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Yes.
That is carried. Next resolution, be it resolved that bylaw number 0088-21, being a bylaw of the Municipality of Swan Valley West for the purpose of managing the developments and buildings in the municipality, shall be introduced and read a third time this 28th day of June 2022. Mover for that resolution, please.
Yeah, I was just
Oh.
wondering, can we just move on to the first reading of
Next.
the rates, and then the first reading of the fire services, and then we'll come back to the third readings of all of them.
Okay.
So it'll be
7.3.
Yes.
Be it resolved that a bylaw number 0099-22, being a bylaw of the Municipality of Swan Valley West, for the purpose of establishing fees and charges for building permits and related matters in the municipality, shall be introduced and read a second time this 28th day of June 2022. Do we have a mover for the resolution? Moved by Councillor Blosha, seconded by Councillor Pierrepont. Any discussion? Not, all in favor?
Yes.
That is carried. For the third reading, this one, 7.4 is what you're saying?
No, he's on 7.5.
7.5? Next resolution, be it resolved that bylaw number 0101-22, being a bylaw of the Municipality of Swan Valley West, for the purpose of providing for firefighting, fire prevention, the related regulation of fire and other hazards, the adoption of the Manitoba Fire Code, and for establishing, continuing, and operating an emergency service, shall be introduced and read a second time this 28th day of June 2022. Do we have a mover for the resolution? Moved by Councillor Blosha, seconded by Councillor Pierrepont. Any discussion? There being none, I'll call the question. All in favor?
Yes.
That is carried. Okay, now we'll go back. Okay, now we will jump back to 7.1 for the third reading of that bylaw.
7.2. Yes, yeah.
Be it resolved that bylaw number 0088-21, being a bylaw of the Municipality of Swan Valley West, for the purpose of managing the developments and buildings in the municipality, shall be introduced and read a third time this 28th day of June 2022. Do we have a mover, please? Moved by Councillor Pierrepont, seconded by Councillor Blosha. Any discussion?
Just
Need to be recorded. It being third reading, it has to be recorded. Councillor Blosha,
Yes.
Councillor Pierpont,
Yes.
Councillor Wills,
Yes.
and yes for myself. I declare it carried. Next one is 7.3. Or 7.4, however you want it. Resolution reads, be it resolved that bylaw number 0099-22, being a bylaw of the Municipality of Swan Valley West, for the purpose of establishing fees and charges for building permits and related matters in the municipality, shall be introduced and read a third time this 28th day of June 2022. Do we have a mover, please? Moved by Councillor Blosha, seconded by Councillor Pierpont. Any discussion? Not, we'll call a recorded vote. Councillor Blosha,
Yes.
Councillor Pierpont,
Yes.
Councillor Wills,
Yes.
and yes for myself. I declare the resolution carried. Next resolution, be it resolved that bylaw number 0101-22, being a bylaw of the Municipality of Swan Valley West for the purpose of providing for firefighting, fire prevention, the related regulation of fire and other hazards, and the adoption of the Manitoba Fire Code, and for establishing, continuing, and operating an emergency service, shall be introduced and read a third time this 28th day of June 2022. Do we have a mover, please? Moved by Councillor Pierpont, seconded by Councillor Blosha. Any discussion? Not. Recorded vote. Councillor Blosha,
Yes.
Councillor Pierpont,
Yes.
Councillor Wills,
Yes.
and yes for myself. I declare the resolution carried. Okay, move into financial items, 8.1. Resolution reads, be it resolved that Council of the Municipality of Swan Valley West hereby approves the following payments. General checks number 17856 to 17917 in the amount of $208,556.69. Do we have a mover, please? Moved by Councillor Blosha, seconded by Councillor Pierpont. Any questions or discussion on any of the checks?
Just take your time on those ones. Look a little bit. So the first check for 20,000 is a transfer,
Okay, that's,
and then the last check for 12 is to cover the payments that were made, direct deposit payments in resolution 8.2. So those two checks are to ourselves.
That transfer, James, what's it, where's it from and going to?
And it's coming from the general account to the direct deposit account.
To the direct deposit, okay.
Yeah, and then it's, so that's 20,000, that's what we'll fund that account with. And then check number, I think it's 17916 will be the check that covers the payment or direct deposits that were made out currently in that account, so that it brings it back up to the 20,000.
Okay.
Check number 17898, Rocky Mountain, Phoenix. What did we get from there?
How much? much is it?
$23,051.29.
That'll be the, was it the, turnout gear? I'm just going there
What was the number?
898 17898.
Oh yeah. 4-inch adapter.
Hmm?
Fire department made 4-inch adapters. First to NH. Firefighting turnout gear.
now. 7 turnout
7
gear.
turnout gears.
7 of them they got.
Yeah.
Wow.
And small tools.
Mhm.
Okay, any other questions?
Yeah, I had one 17,865.
865.
Where's that going?
That is for Durban shop.
Okay, so they didn't have one, or they?
It was no
Cab.
longer working, correct?
There was a fridge for there. Just wondered where it was. To go. I think that was good.
These payments include 2 tractor inspections and safeties on the tandem, the semi and the trailer,
That was foremost.
as well as a 1-ton, and then the small trailer for the 1-ton. So there's 5 vehicles plus the 2 tractors. So there's quite a bit of prep work for spring involved in here.
Okay, any other questions? If not, we'll call the question. All in favor?
Yes.
That is carried. Next resolution, be it resolved that Council of the Municipality of Swan Valley West hereby approves the following payments. Payroll payments, checks number 4151 to 4166 in the amount of $22,828.20. A mover, please. Moved by Councillor Pierrepont, seconded by Councillor Blosha. Any question on that checklist? If not, all in favor?
Yes.
That is carried.
I think you missed 8.2. Skipped one.
That's a list, just, yeah, you had it right there, the resolution.
Next resolution, be it resolved that Council of the Municipality of Swan Valley West hereby approves the following payments. Direct deposit payments, number 550001 to 550019 in the amount of $12,462.20. Mover, please. Moved by Councillor Pierrepont, seconded by
I can second that.
Seconded by Councillor Wills.
There.
Any questions on those?
Okay, so these are payments we're making with direct deposit?
Yeah.
So I wonder how come they can't combine those little ones to the same into one? They can't? Or you have to have them all itemized?
Individual accounts, yes. When we did it with a check, we could send it in as a summary, but these ones, each one's got its own account. The Hydro one, they have a summary account that we can do that with.
Yeah. It just seems like all these little, this,
Yes. and they're all little ones
Yeah, they're
for
all,
all our different lines.
okay, but I just thought,
Hello, James.
Yes.
It's Tyler.
Hey, Tyler.
Welcome, Tyler.
okay, that was my only question. I just thought it would be nice, because each time you make that payment, that's an extra little charge on there. Nice to put it into one.
Any other questions or comments? Okay, we'll call the question. All in favor?
Yes.
I guess you weren't here for the reading of the resolution, so you can join voting on the next resolution. But I declare the resolution carried.
Okay.
Okay, we are at committee reports and communications. Start with Councillor Blosha.
Okay, I attended the LUD meeting on the 21st, and last night the G4 meeting. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Pierrepont.
I attended the G4 last night and multiple ratepayer concerns.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Wills.
No committee meetings for me the last little while, but just ratepayer concerns going forward.
Okay, Councillor Kushniryk.
Yeah, no committee meetings for me that I know of, because I missed the portion before. Did you guys discuss the Balcony Crossing?
No, it'll be coming up.
Okay, good enough. So yeah, just ratepayer concerns then.
Okay, thank you. I too attended the G4 meeting last night and dealt with the numerous calls from taxpayers as well. Yourself, James?
I attended the LUD meeting last week as well as the G4 last night, and been dealing with ratepayers' concerns each day.
Okay, thank you.
David?
Resolution reads, be it resolved that we do hereby accept the following verbal reports regarding council committee and communications. Councillor Kushniryk, ratepayer concerns. Councillor Blosha, LUD meeting and G4 meeting. Councillor Wills, ratepayer concerns. Councillor Pierrepont, G4 meeting, ratepayer concerns.
I'll take that over there.
Okay, myself, G4 meeting, ratepayer concerns, and our CAO attended the LUD meeting and G4 meeting and dealt with numerous ratepayer concerns. Do we have a mover for the resolution? Moved by Councillor Blosha, seconded by Councillor Kushniryk. All in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
And is carried. Okay, we have reached the point on the agenda where we will be going in camera for discussions on personnel matters and certain negotiations and preliminary discussions. But I'd like to open the floor at this point in time to anyone who has a question or a comment in regard to what was discussed on the agenda this evening. So I'll open the floor. Jeremy?
The damage from the storm that you mentioned, was that, the majority of the damage, was that concentrated in a specific area, or did you find it was widespread
There's
across the
two areas,
municipality?
right, where it was worse.
Basically, it was Benito through Durban.
Yeah. So Benito, Durban area, but you
And
had
north
lots up
too, yeah.
north too. So I guess the storm that went through Benito, Durban area, there was a huge dump of water, and maybe not so much up north, but because of the mountain, proximity of the mountain, that obviously exacerbated the problem up there. But there was hail damage to crops, windows knocked out in homes and that sort of thing, so it was pretty violent.
But as far as the damage that you have to repair, it's just mostly washouts?
Mostly washouts, I think, yeah. And that, you know, there can be 3 or 4 in a mile, depending on how many dips there are, how many old creeks, and then there could be nothing for a few miles, but there's lots of them. So, as I mentioned earlier, we have applied for disaster assistance, and we're hopeful that that will come to fruition, so we will get some rebate on the cost.
Very good.
Money's going out of the cash register pretty fast, I understand, with all the gravel and all the contractors that a person has to hire, etc. Any other questions?
I take it the Botany crossing is going in camera?
We could talk about it now. I was waiting for Tyler to join us to
Okay.
talk about it. I mean, we can add that anytime, but I was going to wait until later. But Tyler, do you want to, or I'll turn it back over to Reeve. Sorry about that.
Yeah, go ahead, Tyler, if you have something to let council.
Okay. So, just as more of a discussion, I just wanted to kind of bring it back forward again to see, the last time that we talked about it was back in the fall, and if there was any commitment or any other progress available for us to move forward with that Botany crossing. And I suspect that, you know, just because of the nature of that crossing, you know, it's not going to be an overnight fix, but does anybody else have any ideas or what direction we should be going in with this concern?
Well, I don't believe that the municipality can handle the cost alone. So obviously we would be looking for some sort of granting from either the provincial or the federal government. And until that comes, I don't think we can afford to spend $1 million plus repairing it. I guess
Okay.
had it washed out at this point, when the storm came, then it would qualify perhaps for some help from disaster assistance.
Yeah.
But obviously that is not the case. It undermined, and that's an act of nature. So
Are we doing anything to look into grants, or are we just waiting for something to come?
I think we're always looking for grants
We're actively looking for that specific project, though.
for any project. It wouldn't be a grant, I wouldn't think, that would say to repair low-level crossings. It would be a grant for infrastructure.
Yeah.
So
No, I'm just making sure that that there is something being done, and you know, because I mean I understand that it can't be paid for and fixed overnight, but just want to make sure that we're actively looking into it.
I think you can rest assured we are. Any other questions or comments from anyone?
So I think that kind of addressed my concern with that, so.
Okay, thank you. Okay, there being none, what we will do is read the resolution to go in camera and then call a short recess. Resolution reads, be it resolved that pursuant to section 152, sub 3 of the Municipal Act, Council should meet as a committee of the whole to close the meeting and continue discussions in camera regarding personnel matters and negotiations and preliminary discussions. Do we have a mover, please?
I'll move that.
Moved by Councillor Wills, seconded by Councillor Blosha. All in favor?
Yes. Yes.
That is carried. For the Municipal Act, this meeting shall be reopened to the public. Do we have a mover, please?
I'll move.
Moved by Councillor Wills, seconded by Councillor Pierrepont. All in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
That is carried. Okay, 1331. This is the one on the quotes, so you may want to leave your phone for a second, Councillor Kushniryk.
Yep, will do.
Be it resolved that the Council of Swan Valley West does hereby accept a quote from Grant Spicer Drywall for the drywall finishing and painting of the interior of the office and mechanical room. The mover, please. Moved by Councillor Blosha, seconded by Councillor Pierrepont. Any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Yes.
That is carried. Okay, Councillor Kushniryk, you can come back in.
Okay, thank you.
Next resolution reads, be it resolved that Council of Swan Valley West approve the purchase of gift certificates of $750 for the organization that assisted with cleanup in the LUD and rural after the June 19th, 2022 storm. Mover, please. Moved by Councillor Blosha,
I'll second.
seconded by Councillor Wills. Any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
That is carried. Okay, is there anything else before we adjourn? If not, be it resolved that this meeting shall now adjourn at 9:25 p.m. Be it further resolved that the next meeting is Tuesday, 12th of July, 2022 at 7 p.m. Mover, please.
Kushniryk.
Moved by Councillor Kushniryk,
Second.
seconded by Councillor Wills. All in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
That is carried.
So now you guys speak up.